Ladies and gentlemen, if films are a reflection of the society, is Bollywood a reflection of nafrat ki rajniti? Is the political rhetoric and the hidden agendas taking a toll on creative license? I ask you this question because today, Vikrant Massey, after weeks of being trolled and harassed for choosing to act in the film, The Sabarmati Report, has cryptically said that he wishes to quit films. The reason was not specified. Incidentally, it comes on the day when Prime Minister Modi watched a special screening of the film in the Parliament along with top ministers and many members of Parliament from NDA. Let's piece together what happened ever since the film's release and the chronology samajhiye pattern. The film Sabarmati Report claims to portray the truth of the 2002 Godhra train burning. Produced by Ekta Kapoor, it stars Vikrant Massey and Riddhi Dogra. Immediately, the opposition parties rejected this film as BJP's propaganda. Online troll armies harassed Vikrant Massey, who said "Chinta ho rahi hai" for his infant son. Today, Vikrant Massey says, I realize it's time to recalibrate and go back home as a husband, father, and a son, and also as an actor. So, coming 2025, we would meet for one last time. Thank you again for everything and everything in between. So what led to Vikrant Massey suddenly hinting at retirement at the age of 37 when most people think that their careers are taking off, and in fact, Vikrant Massey himself was at the peak of his career? This on a day when even Prime Minister Modi has posted a message saying joined fellow NDA MPs at a screening of the Sabarmati Report. I commend the makers of the film for their effort. In fact, Vikrant Massey and the cast and crew of the entire film sat next to the Prime Minister and watched this screening in the Parliament. The actor said, "This is the highest point of my career." So why quit when he's at the peak? Watch him and decide for yourself.
शब्दों में शायद बयान नहीं कर पाऊंगा क्योंकि अभी भी एक अलग ही नर्वसनेस है, खुशी है एक्चुअली कि इन सब के साथ बैठ के फिल्म देखने का मौका मिला। जैसे मैं पहले से कह रहा हूँ, आज भी दोबारा कहना चाहूँगा देश की जनता से आपके माध्यम से कि प्लीज़ जाएं अपने सिनेमाघरों में, द साबरमती रिपोर्ट को देखें, अपना प्यार दें। और ये मेरे ख्याल से पर्सनली अगर आप मुझसे पूछें तो मेरी लाइफ का सबसे हाईएस्ट पॉइंट है मेरे करियर में, माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के साथ बैठ के फिल्म देखना।
While the Prime Minister hailed the makers of the movie, the opposition lashed out at misplaced priorities. After 6 days of dharna and disruptions by the opposition in Parliament, today the Parliament session was again a washout. 6 days of Sansad blockade means a loss of rupees 63 crore to the public coffers. But despite repeated disruptions by the India alliance, ironically, the opposition has blamed Modi Sarkar of wasting time with the Sabarmati Report. Watch these allegations.
Instead of, the hours that he's watching this movie, Sabarmati Report, should have been in the parliamentary working hours. These are parliamentary working hours. These are business hours of the parliament. So without caring about the parliament not functioning for him to watch a movie which has been made tax-free across the states where BJP governs, all the chief ministers have been mandated to, ensure there's a screening that takes place. And now the Prime Minister and the entire cabinet is sitting and watching a movie. What does it speak of his priorities of governance?
मोदी साहब अपने सहूलियत की राजनीति करते हैं। भारतीय जनता पार्टी को जहां फ़ायदा होता है उसको राजनीति करना बहुत पसंद होती है। लेकिन हम आदरणीय मोदी जी से कहना चाहेंगे कि बहुत साल पहले एक पिक्चर आई थी, रोटी कपड़ा और मकान। आज भारत देश को रोटी कपड़ा और मकान चाहिए। क्या ये मूवी भी मोदी जी आपने देखी है? या अपने सांसदों को दिखाएंगे, अपने विधायकों को दिखाएंगे? क्योंकि देश कहाँ ले जाना चाहते हैं मोदी साहब आप?
प्रधानमंत्री के पास मणिपुर के बारे में कोई समय नहीं है, उनके अंतर्राष्ट्रीय सीमाओं के बारे में कोई समय नहीं है, देश की अर्थव्यवस्था में जीडीपी गिरती जा रही उसके पर लिए समय नहीं है। अब फिल्में देख रहे हैं, देखें।
While the opposition today fumes over Prime Minister Modi watching the Sabarmati Report, let's remind you of who's really running away from reality. In 2008, Rahul Gandhi went for a special screening of Firak, which was critical of the state of Gujarat during the post-Godhra riots. Under the UPA in 2007, the film Parzania, which again depicted post-Godhra riots, was awarded the National Film Award. In 2017, Indu Sarkar, a film on the emergency, was opposed by the Congress party since it allegedly depicted Indira Gandhi in negative light. Kerala Story, Kashmir Files to saw protests by the Congress, which depicted forced and induced conversions in one case and the truth of Kashmir in the other. When the centre banned the BBC series India, the Modi Question 2023, the Congress called it stifling of the truth. So can truth be selective and subject to which side of the ideological divide you're on? And ladies and gentlemen, that's the question we are asking. The legitimate question, the Motorola legitimate question on the Newshour tonight. Who's running scared of the truth, of the such? That's the question and that's the debate coming up on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Joining the debate tonight is Dr. Ajay Alok, national spokesperson of the BJP, Sushil Pandit, activist, Harshvardhan Tripathi, senior journalist, Vivek Srivastava, political analyst, Mohammad Tariq Khan, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. But my first question goes to Tehseen Poonawala, Congress supporter, political analyst. And Tehseen Poonawala, isn't this a case of misplaced comparisons that are being drawn? The opposition does not let the parliament work, but to blame is the film that the prime minister is watching. The troll armies have been encouraged by the opposition and the Congress party by raising questions on the Sabarmati report, leading perhaps to Vikrant Massey today bowing out at the peak of his career because death threats and all kinds of threats have been sent to him and his family, and he feels scared for his family, his infant son, his parents, that he has to bow out. I want to ask you, how much of hatred is enough hatred, and one man's propaganda is another man's truth, is a situation we've seen during the Congress party's own regime. Why question it today? What about creative freedom?
Thank you, Navika ji, for having me on your show. There are 3 issues that I want to raise.
You're
but
on mute,
at
I
the
think.
No, I'm not. I think it's from your end. I'm not on mute. I'm not on
Okay.
mute. Can you hear me? Thank
All
you.
right. Yes.
Thank you, Navika ji, for having me on your show. At the onset, I want to congratulate the makers of the movie, my friend Ekta and Vikrant. I met Vikrant at Ekta's house recently, and they delivered a hit. And I'm not against movie censorship. I don't think movies should be censored at all. I know the Congress has done it in the past, doesn't justify the BJP doing it. The BJP has done it with the BBC documentary. I've discussed that on your show. The BJP is as dictatorial as it claimed to fight against. These are the people who claim to fight against the emergency. Let's come to the issue at hand, which is more important. The Prime Minister watching a movie, as Jitendra ji said, for the first time since he became Prime Minister is not true. He watched the Kashmir Files also. Again, wish him all the best. I wish, though, that my Prime Minister would have seen the movie Manipur burning. It's happening live right now, but he doesn't have time. Ma'am, you spoke about Parliament, and let me quote the Vice President of India and the Chairperson of the Rajya Sabha, who quotes today in Rajya Sabha Murphy's Law. What will go wrong when the opposition wants to discuss our fellow brothers and sisters in Bangladesh, Hindu brothers and sisters being slaughtered. They want to discuss Sambal, Manipur and Adani ji. The Vice President of India quotes what will go wrong, and once again adjourns Parliament. Ma'am, crores and crores of your money and my money and taxpayers' money, of Vivek's money, of the Sushil Pandit's money is being wasted, and the government is running away from a debate in Parliament. What will go wrong will go wrong. While the Honorable Prime Minister has time to watch movies, may he watch movies, may his tribe increase, may more movies become hits, but can he actually get down to doing some business, which is the job of running Parliament? parliament. For the first time in the history of this country, government is running away from running parliament. And the late Arun Jaitley ji had told you, it is the responsibility of the government to run parliament. Never seen a government that does not want to discuss any issue. What will go wrong will go wrong. Murphy's Law, and they run away. And where do they run? To the nearest cinema hall to watch a movie. That is what we're fighting against.
अजय आलो, पार्लियामेंट तो वैसे भी नहीं चल रहा, but the allegation is that the prime minister is watching a movie and that's what is troubling the opposition. Your response?
First of all, Tehseen Bhai, PM didn't go to any movie hall. He went to the Audi of the Lok Sabha. There was no question of going to a movie hall. Second thing, are you guys have lost all sensitivity? Have you lost all sensitivity? What things you're comparing? You're comparing apple to oranges. You are not letting the parliament function. You are creating all the ruckus and the chaos. And your India alliance, indeed the Government alliance, people are also not supporting you. Today, Mamata Banerjee clearly came out and said there are other more important issues than Adani and we should let the House function. What's your obsession with Adani? What's the Congress party obsession with Adani? When you were in power 10 years, you kept on doling favors to Adani, and today you are just because the obsession of an insane person, you are raising Adani, and you are not letting the parliament function. Now let us come to this Sabarmati report. Why it is important? Prime Minister Modi was chief minister when this happened. When 2 bogies were burnt. And you know who was those inside the bogie? They were coming back from Ayodhya after seeking the darshan of Ram Lalla. Do you understand the emotive pain it has in the heart of every Indian? And why they were burnt? What reason? All the bogies locked from outside and then burnt. Why? Just because they were coming from Ayodhya in a pre-planned manner. And later it was spread all over India that no, there was a kerosene oil and the kerosene oil took the place and the bogie caught fire. This was the reason for the Gujarat riots, which then Chief Minister tried to control with full vigor. And he was completely targeted with various type of Maut Ka Saudagar, blah, 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 for 10 long years, till the Supreme Court exonerated him. You never took a single chance to malign him, to castigate him, to do anything. Today, while watching the movie, he must be remembering those times, those painful times, when he has to see his own people dying. And he was trying to control with utmost sincerity. When you failed, when the neighboring Congress state failed, Maharashtra failed to send the forces which was requested. Rajasthan failed to send the forces which was requested by the Chief Minister. Centre delayed the army by 3 long days. Who was responsible? Those painful memories must be getting into his mind. And you guys have lost sensitivity that you are comparing this to attending the parliament. Let the parliament function. Had the parliament been functioning and then Prime Minister would have gone to see the movie, you could have had the face to say all these things. But this is utter, what do you say? You just hate him like anything. That you lose your sensitivity also.
Navika
Please be sensitive
I'd like to respond.
in these matters.
I'd like to respond.
Because it hurts every Indian.
I'd like to respond.
Please
Navika,
respond, Tehseen Poonawalla. But before you
right,
respond, let me just read out the statement that has been put out by Union Home Minister Amit Shah. The Sabarmati Report फिल्म ने देशवासियों को गोधरा के सच से परिचित कराया. इस फिल्म के माध्यम से लोगों को पता चल रहा है कि कैसे एक इकोसिस्टम ने इतने बड़े सच को सालों तक देश से छिपा कर रखा. आज प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी और एनडीए के सांसदों के साथ ये फिल्म देखी. इस प्रशंसनीय प्रयास के लिए द साबरमती रिपोर्ट फिल्म की पूरी टीम को बधाई. एंड आई वांट टू आस्क यू तहसीन पूनावाला, the Prime Minister has been put through several tests on this issue. In fact, the courts, the magistrates court in 2012 accepted the SIT's final closure report. The SIT gave a clean chit to Modi and 64 others. Yet, the Congress, the opposition doesn't shy away from accusing him at the drop of any opportunity. You've seen the reports, the Nanavati Mehta report. Each one of those reports have exonerated. The Supreme Court in 2022 upheld the magistrate court and Gujarat High Court's order that there was no pre-planned conspiracy behind the riots. Today, you call this propaganda. Today, you call this wastage of time. Tehseen Poonawalla, is that fair?
Navika ji, there are two issues here, and I'm going to join both the issues, one that Ajay Bhai raised and one that you raised. Both of this. If the Honorable Prime Minister chose to watch the movie early morning prior to Parliament or late night, if the government allowed Parliament to function rather than running away, what shall go wrong, as the Vice President of India says, then I would say, great, the Prime Minister has a right to his personal time, and maybe he got emotional. I also wish my Prime Minister, he's also my Prime Minister, gets a little emotional and has tears in his eyes for the women paraded naked in Manipur, for the women today who are being widowed in Manipur, for the highest number of gold jewelry that has been mortgaged, his own government's report, by the women of India. I wish there's a tear in his eye there. Or there also he'll blame the opposition. I wish there's a tear in his eyes for Hindus being massacred in Bangladesh, which the opposition wants a debate on and the government chooses to run away on. I wish he has a tear in his eyes for Sambal, where 5 youngsters, Indian youngsters, were murdered brutally by the state. I wish the Prime Minister has a tear in his eyes for everything that's going wrong, including the GDP collapsing. There he doesn't have tears in his eyes. The only thing he has tears in his eyes for is not allowing Parliament to function so that the government's performance would be exposed. I'm again asking you, the Vice President of India said what shall go wrong and adjourn Parliament. Is this acceptable to you, Ajay Bhai? Why is the government running away from a debate?
We have never run away from a debate. For debate to happen, you need to sit in the House and listen to the Speaker, not put your rulings on the Speaker that we want debate under this rule. You are not a dictator out there in the House. What kind of a leader of opposition you have in Kharge and in Rahul Gandhi? Can you tell me, Tehseen Bhai? We just want to have debate on 267, nothing else.
Yeah.
Are you the Speaker? Do you know during Nehruji's regime, 800 times the notices were given and the Speaker accepted only 4 in 20 years of regime? Go and check the history. That's what you call a dictator. Every time we had a debate, you run away like a gorilla. When Prime Minister was speaking about Manipur last time in the Parliament, the whole Congress party staged and walked out. Why? Was this a guerrilla technique? You don't want to discuss anything. You don't want to sit anything. You are under the obsession of an insane person. We cannot help it. And we are full of sensitivity and we are full of emotions. And we understand the pain of this country because we belong to this country. The problem is you don't have the belonging for this country, the party. Under the obsession of again an insane man. And for debate to happen, you need to sit, listen to the Speaker, go according to the decorum of the House, go according to the rules of the book. You cannot frame your rules that either it's my way or highway. And out of disgust, the Vice President says a lot of things. Out of disgust, Lok Sabha Speaker says a lot of things, but then he calls all the opposition. And today, the embargo has been lifted up. Why? Because Congress was left alone. Rest all the opposition agreed, yet yes, the House must function. So the House will function. Please have some respect for the temple of democracy. Please teach your leader.
And that's the point. That is the point. And Vivek Srivastava, I want to get you in. When the BBC documentary was banned by the government, suddenly everybody was all for freedom of speech and how everything should be put before the people of India. BBC's interpretation is all right, but the Sabarmati Report, made in India by Indians on material based in various commissions, that labor of love is not something that the opposition parties can bear to see. And because so much hatred has been created around the film, around the actors of that film, today an actor at the peak of his career has to come out and announce his retirement at the age of 37. Why? Because possibly he's been receiving the death threats for himself and his family. Do you see nothing wrong in this?
You see, the artist you're talking about is a big dramebaz, Vikrant Massey. He may be a friend of Tehseen Bhai. और मैं बता रहा हूं फिर 6 महीने बाद आएंगे, फिर बीजेपी फंडिंग करेगी, फिर एक कंट्रोवर्शियल फिल्म बनेगी which tries to disturb the communal harmony of this country and says the Hindus and the Muslims, we are against each other. This is what you want to promote. And Parliament के समय में you go over there, the entire NDA, including the Honorable Prime Minister of this country, watches the movie, praises it because he thinks it is going to give him a clean shit. Possibly it is going to give him a clean consciousness. कि भाई गुजरात हुआ कोई बात नहीं भाई. गोधरा में कुछ गड़बड़ हुई थी इसीलिए तो हुआ. मेरी क्या गलती है? Is this the statement that the honorable Prime Minister is trying to
Prime
do?
Minister is not Sam
And Tehseen
Pitroda
bhai,
that he'll say hua to hua.
sure.
Please mind your tongue.
No.
Mind your
Sam
tongue.
Pitroda is a very good guy.
Prime Minister
Sam
is no Sam
Pitroda
Pitroda that he'll say
is a
hua to
highly
hua.
educated, decent guy.
That is the culture of the Congress and the Communists.
No, Sam Pitroda
That is
नहीं
the
है.
culture of the
जब 10 साल
Congress
तक-
and Communists.
No,
Hua to
sorry.
hua.
We got a bad name.
That's what the sympathy
We
vote
got a bad
community had.
name in the entire world because of the
Prime
Gujarat
Minister is not Sam
massacre
Pitroda,
of
so
the
mind your tongue.
minorities
Hua to hua.
and the United
That
States of
character
America,
belongs to
country
Congress.
I dislike,
That is
did
patented
not
by
give
Congress.
visa to the then
That is
Honorable Chief
patented by
Minister.
Congress.
Yeah.
People like
Yes,
you would stand
we know
nowhere
it.
in this country.
हाँ, तो इतने
People like you stand nowhere in this country. You are minuscule.
Why do
minus.
you think this movie is good? You think
Nobody
this movie
bothers
is
about
good?
your opinion, sir.
It is. You are trying.
Nobody bothers
you
about
are trying
opinion.
to
That's why you are
justify the
getting.
Gujarat.
You are just.
You
getting-
are trying to justify the Gujarat riots by
Because
watching this
your
movie.
ideology is completely different.
Watching this movie.
Vivek
That is the
Srivastava,
problem.
Vivek Srivastava, I'm
That's
aghast
what
at
I
the
know.
position you're taking, and Sushil
are trying to
Pandit,
justify that the
Godhra
burning of the
gave
Hindus were
India a
right.
bad
Burning
name
of the
in
Hindus were
the world, but what happened in Kashmir gave India a very good name. What happened in Delhi in 1984 gave India a very good name, because Vivek Srivastava and the left parties are sitting
Minister did not
sitting with
endorse Kashmir.
the National Conference,
Prime
with the
Minister endorsed
Congress
Kashmir.
party as alliance partners on the same bench, but Godhra is the only incident that they remember. Is this justified? Is this the sense of proportion that the opposition today carries?
Thank you, Navika, for having me on this show, and good evening to all your viewers and my fellow panelists. I must recall from memory what happened on 28th of February 2002. It was the budget session in Lok Sabha, when the report came in that a passenger train has been burnt, and passengers in that were burnt alive. It was a big carnage. Now imagine, this was a BJP government in Gujarat. It was a BJP government at the center. They were presenting budget, and budget session for any government is a very crucial, critical session. And opposition should have grabbed this issue and put the government on the mat for allowing, or at least not being negligent about security and letting this carnage happen. You know, not a single opposition member in the parliament raised a voice. It was BJP members who screamed their lungs out and asking for what happened. They expressed grief, they expressed anger, but not one opposition member. You must know that Godhra incident,
No, I don't believe this.
Godhra incident had the jaundiced view of opposition from day one. Not one Hindu burnt alive mattered to them. Go to second stage. Nanavati Commission was still investigating, yet to come out with its report. UPA government appointed another commission, a Banerjee commission by Lalu Yadav under the railways, in order to quickly give a clean chit and turn this entire incident into an accident, and also a self-inflicted accident. That people were burning.
It was an accident.
People were burning fuel inside the compartment, cooking, were doing whatever in order.
It was an accident. You can do whatever you want, and you can make whatever movie you want.
This idiot can keep ranting and not allowing
You
others.
can do whatever you want. You can make people fight. You can make people fight. You can.
To be taught.
I mean, come on.
Civic sense. This man needs to be taught. Gentleman behavior.
No.
People have been
आप देश में झगड़ा करा रहे हैं।
People have been convicted for what happened on that train, Vivek Srivastava. Supreme Court and every court in the land, the SIT has given its judgment on this. You are saying that it was still an accident. Even the law of the land does not matter to you, and you talk about the constitution. I'm horrified with the position that you're taking. Sushil Pandit, they don't even care about the courts, and they talk about the constitution.
Number 3, I've seen this film. Not 1 second of this film is about riots in Gujarat post Godhra. They're talking about riots as a figment of imagination. This film is only about finding out whether this was an organized carnage or an accident. and it comes to with meticulous evidence and proof
That is
and
what
logic.
we are saying. Why
that
did
this
you not
was
show the
a
riots of Gujarat
carnage
and the massacre of the
organized-
minorities also?
organized by a mob.
It's a
and
one-sided
instigated
movie.
by the politicians, instigated by the mobsters, instigated because of jihad. Now, this is what the film is all about, and it doesn't suit
It is a
those.
one-sided
It doesn't
movie
suit
against one
comrades.
community.
It doesn't suit the jihadi collaborators. It doesn't suit the communist propagandists, and it certainly doesn't suit Congress. So that's why, and they're pitching one tragedy against the other. That is the most macabre mind. Pitching Manipur against Godhra.
No, at
Pitching
least
GDP
thanks for
against
calling the
Godhra.
Gujarat massacre a tragedy. Thank you
Pitching
for calling the
Bengal
Gujarat
against
massacre a tragedy
Godhra.
at least.
Pitching Bangladesh against Godhra. They don't have a tear to shed for Hindus of Bangladesh otherwise. But they would throw even a kitchen sink on Godhra because Godhra exposes them. And the truth of Godhra will liberate us. They have
No, absolutely
created
not. No,
a
nothing is
campaign
exposed.
around Godhra to
You are
besmirch
just
the
trying to be
reputation of this
Islamophobic,
nation.
and this film is
And we
Islamophobic.
shall redeem this reputation by bringing the truth out. Because this truth is going to bury these comrades and their jihadi collaborators. It needs to
Well,
come out
let me-
from the rooftop.
You can do whatever you want. We will not let you divide the country.
Whether
on
you
religious
believe
grounds.
this is the truth or not, whether you believe this is exactly the events or not, हर्षवर्धन त्रिपाठी कम से कम क्रिएटिव फ्रीडम की तो इज्जत कर लें कि क्रिएटिव फ्रीडम में अगर कोई फिल्म बनाई गई है वो इनके हिसाब से नैरेटिव नहीं बता रही तो इस फिल्म को कंडेम कर दो, फिल्म को ट्रोल कर दो, एक्टर्स को ट्रोल कर दो। एक्टर ड्रामेबाज है, एक्टर है। आप तो पॉलिटिक्स में रहकर ड्रामा करते हो, वो तो एक्टर है।
एक्टर ने
लेकिन
पैसे बनाने
हर्षवर्धन
के लिए
त्रिपाठी
controversial
जी,
film बनाई है।
इतनी इंटॉलरेंस और कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को इतना ताक पे रखकर ये कहते हैं कि हम कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को डिफेंड करते हैं, हम कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को बचाना चाहते हैं। क्या कह रहे हैं?
नविका जी, सबसे पहले तो पूरी जो साबरमती रिपोर्ट की टीम है उसको बधाई कि एक ऐसी शानदार फिल्म बनाई कि जो प्रोपेगेंडा फैलाने वाले लोग थे वो टीवी से लेकर सड़क तक चिल्ला रहे हैं। बड़ा अच्छा काम किया, तो सबसे पहले तो उनको बधाई। अब एक दूसरी बात मैं कह रहा हूं, प्रधानमंत्री ने साबरमती रिपोर्ट देखी, पूरे मंत्रिमंडल और अपने सहयोगियों के साथ, सांसदों के साथ देखी, जीएमसी बालयोगी सभागार में, संसद का ही हिस्सा है, वो बहुत अच्छा है। लेकिन असली बात जिस पर चर्चा करनी चाहिए, अगर ये कह रहे हैं कि ये सब कुछ प्रोपागेंडा है तो इसका मतलब ये कि सरकार में रहते हुए पिछले 50-60 वर्षों में कांग्रेस और उनके सहयोगियों ने सिर्फ प्रोपागेंडा किया। ये तो कहते थे कि जो फिल्म नहीं बना सकते, जो किताबें नहीं लिख सकते, वो लोग हैं जो आकर लड़ने चले आते हैं किसी फिल्म पर। ये इनको परजानिया से लेकर सारी फिल्मों पर यही सब कुछ डायलॉग याद आता था। बाकायदा फिल्मों में ऐसे ऐसे एक्टर जो पाकिस्तान परस्त भूमिका ही नहीं निभाते थे, उसी के साथ बातचीत भी करते थे। ऐसे ऐसे एक्टर जिनकी पत्नियों को डर लगने लगा था भारत में, और उसको लेकर माहौल क्रिएट किया जाता था कि देखो भारत ऐसे जा रहा है। इनकी किताबें, वो ऐसे ऐसे इतिहासकार जिनको यही नहीं पता कि भैया सतयुग, त्रेता युग, द्वापर युग में कौन पहले आएगा, महाभारत पहले आई या बुद्ध पहले हुए, जिनको यही नहीं पता कि सम्राट अशोक का साम्राज्य कहां से कहां था। ऐसे मूर्ख इतिहासकारों के जिम्मे पूरा देश का इतिहास बनाने का काम जिस सत्ता ने दिया, और आज वो साबरमती रिपोर्ट पर टेसुए बाहर हैं, आज उसके खिलाफ ये प्रदर्शन कर रहे हैं। उनको कष्ट है कि प्रधानमंत्री क्यों देखने चले गए। मुझे लगता है कि यह भी दिखाता है कि दरअसल इनका तंत्र कितना खोखला था, इनकी बातें कितनी खोखली थी, और सत्ता के साथ, सत्ता के संरक्षण में सत्ता पोषित लोगों ने इस देश का इतिहास बिगाड़ने की कोशिश की, इस देश में लोगों को लड़ाने की कोशिश की। और जो सबसे बड़ी बात जिसको कहते हैं ना कि आपस में लड़ा रहे हैं, क्यों हम इसको दिखा दें, आपस में लड़ने लगेंगे, जहर बोने का काम किया और मुसलमानों को इस देश के खिलाफ, इस देश के हिंदुओं के खिलाफ खड़ा करने का काम किया गया। यह बरसों से किया जाता रहा। इसीलिए आज साबरमती रिपोर्ट हो, कश्मीर फाइल्स हो या केरला स्टोरी हो, ऐसे प्रोपागेंडिस्ट को परेशान कर रही, पीड़ा दे रही।
तारिक खान साहब, I want to ask you, what brings in so much intolerance into the opposition that preaches tolerance, that preaches constitution? Vivek Srivastava here doesn't even want to believe in the Supreme Court judgments, the entire process from 2002 to 2024, by saal, 22 years, you have tried one person, and today because of a film you want to try him again. कि अब वो फिल्म क्यों देख रहे हैं, प्रोपोगंडा क्यों है? आपके मतलब की फिल्में आए फिराक और परजानिया तो वो सही है, then Rahul Gandhi should go and watch it with the entire Congress party. But if there is a Sabarmati report which gives another side of the story, which is according to the Supreme Court also the real story, then you have a problem. What kind of freedom of speech and constitution upholders are you?
Gujarat, same court of Gujarat sentenced Maya Kotnani, the BJP minister, for 28 years. So it would be not fair that BJP people were not involved in that rights. Okay. And the sentence, those sentenced has already proved those things. Now, in democracy हमें ये पता चलता है कि किसको कितने वोट मिले तो उसकी कितनी मान्यता है पता चल जाती है. ऐसे ही बॉक्स ऑफिस कलेक्शन इस पिक्चर का मैम देख लीजिए. Not even 10 days box office collection is not even 25 crores. So people means in democracy it's same thing applies in films also. Now what is the collection? Even the collection of Kashmir Files were even high and Kerala Story was even high. Now compared to those two films, the collection is not so good. So people it's not up to us. It's up to people. If they want, nobody could stop them to watch the movie, but they're not going to cinema halls, and means nobody is responsible for that. People don't want to watch these type of things, and they are expecting the Prime Minister that after watching this movie, he'll say something about the farmer protest, and they are approaching toward Delhi, and what he'll do and what he'll be thinking about the farmer or not. Simple. Means you watch, it's your complete right that you watch the movie, but after watching the movie, you must say something, and which is ironical, something which I find very ironical in this whole story. If one person died in non-BJP state, the chief minister is responsible. Very good, I accept this. If our sister died in West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee is responsible. But when thousands of people died in Gujarat, Modi is not responsible as a chief minister. This is very good. I'll appreciate this and I'll accept this as well.
Ajay Alo.
Well said. Well said.
First of all, let me tell Mr. Mohammad Tariq that we are not here to discuss the economics of the film, that how much the film is going to earn.
Why not?
By the way, the film has already crossed 31 crores, and it's not the question about your truth is coming out that why Godhra was burnt. What problem do you have with that? What problem do you have with that? Why bogies were burnt systematically? Why it was done? By whom it was done? What was the motive?
Whole Gujarat rights
film
cannot be
exposes all these
justified
things,
by
and
these
that
acts.
hurts you because you are quite open to all these things. You are quite open to all these things. Your leader very proudly thumped his chest and said, मैं और 100-200 और कार सेवकों को गोली से मार देता, लेकिन मस्जिद बचाने के लिए मैं कुछ भी करता. This was Mulayam Singh words. So you are not ashamed of your doing. You are not ashamed of your doing. And for Godhra, Modi is not responsible, let me tell you. It's because of the Modi that since 2002 till 2024, not a single riots in Gujarat. Post-independence, every year 2 to 3 riots.
Tariq Khan, you know, when you talk and spew venom, you should also know the legal position. Mayaben Kotnani was also acquitted by the Gujarat High Court. So I'm fact-checking you on the Newshour tonight. The issue is, courts may say whatever in their judgments, but the opposition will only go by one particular narrative that they think they want to own. The narrative can be anything that is absolutely distant from the truth, but it is a narrative that suits them. And in that case, neither court verdicts matter, nor statements that have come out, nor facts. Nothing matters, because it should always be the victory of the narrative that is given in by the opposition. The question is, one man's propaganda is the other man's truth. Their propaganda should be believed. The other side, which gives the truth, should be condemned. And is Vikrant Massey hanging up his boots because he's been pushed into a corner because of the threats that have come his way? That's the question that should worry this country. Because if a talented person who has years of a career ahead of him, and a promising career at that when he's at the peak, should he be threatened? And should safety concerns for his family force him out? Is that a question that bothers anyone with a conscience in this country? If it doesn't, it should. It should. We need to think. We need to think, where are we going as a society? If the Prime Minister watches a film, the opposition is up in arms. If they watch a film, it's fine. What are we sending as a message, and where is the constitution and rights and freedoms in this? Well, only those who are now trolling the film and anybody who watches it or acts in it, well, they need to answer. We leave it at that. Thank you very much to all my panelists for joining me on the Newshour debate.